Welcome to the Carnarvon Motel Three Springs 360, Round 5 of the 2017 CAMS Carnarvon Motel Western Australian Off-Road Racing Championship. The event kicked off with a scrutineering which was held on Friday night and also early on Saturday morning. A big field of 48 cars were lined up ready to tackle the Three Springs event, once again proving the popularity of an event which is only in its 5th year. The weather forecast for the weekend was for intermittent showers on Saturday and Sunday, with strong winds. This would make for changeable conditions on track and really put the crews to the test. Some rain late on Friday night would dampen the track and had many of the competitors nervous about what conditions would be like on race day. The format for Saturday's racing was to run a prologue. This would be followed by section 1, which would be one short lap and one long lap totaling 120 kilometres. Both sections on Sunday had been scheduled to be 120 kilometres long, made up of a short and long lap. Unfortunately, torrential rain on Sunday afternoon meant that this section will be cut down to 2 short laps. The championship points after the first 4 rounds would see Jared Percival hold a small advantage over Mal, who was leading a big pack of chasing competitors. Prologue was the first chance for the crews to hit the loud pedal and try to claim the all-important pole position. Being only a short run, prologues are often decided by seconds, and any mistake could see a team tumble down the start order. Harley Ram was quickest and is starting to get a reputation of being one of the quickest qualifiers in the business.
Yeah, very good run, nice and smooth. Nice to get the new motor in, give it a bit of a test run. Trying out these tyres, make sure they hold up. Nice to change over to 37s and see how they go.
The number 77 led the field away, with the crews behind him at full tilt as they worked around the 2 laps of the Section 1. carnage throughout the field. Rollovers, blown diffs and CVs were just some of the issues which led to just 23 cars completing both laps. Marcus Wells attempted to limp his way to the finish line on a flat tyre, whilst Brad Cooper was another frontrunner to strike trouble. The front end of the field had a big shake-up when both Harley Wren and Nathaniel Edwards dropped out, leaving Agrella, Robinson and Phillips fighting for top spot. At the end of the 2 laps, Agrella had nailed down the fastest times to hold the overnight lead. The WA Off-Road Junior Development Program has been a great initiative for the sport in Western Australia. Whilst Matthew Beck has been doing a great job in the Performance Tour Drive Kingswood, for Three Springs a second vehicle was generously donated. This enabled 12-year-old Jackson Fong to navigate for his father in the ex-Steve Knowles Jeep.
Finished the first section yesterday and hoping for a good finish today.
Yeah, I've learned how to service it and smash out the thermostat. Yeah, a bit of tuning a little
bit. Yeah, they've been really helpful. On Sunday it was, last week, we didn't have a race car. My own one had an engine problem, and Steve Knowles kindly donated a Jeep for us to race in the Junior Development Program, and Russell helped prep it as well.
Dave and Jackson would eventually win the multi-club component of the Carnarvon Motel Three Springs 360. Day 2 of the Carnarvon Motel Three Springs 360 was kicked off in ideal racing conditions. There was close racing up and down the field as minimal dust gave the crews a chance to put on a show for the spectators. big movers and shakers of Section 2 was Harley Uran, as he charged his way to the second quickest time, despite starting way back in the pack after a blown diff on day 1. Mark Murray looked quick early, but snapped a pitman arm which put his HP Diesel GQ Patrol on the sidelines for the rest of the weekend. Out in front, the man nobody could catch was Darren Agrella, who was setting blisteringly quick times in the number 39 Jimco.
Yeah, pretty good. Having a good run for a change. It's pretty slippery out there, but yeah, quite enjoyable.
A massive downpour in between sections meant vastly different conditions greeted the competitors for the final 2 laps. Harley Uran started second due to his times from the previous section, but as he was out of contention for the race due to the blown diff, he decided to pull over and wait for Bo Robinson, who was starting third car on the road, so that he could chase Bo around the track. The rain was still coming down, and in some sections of the track, conditions were diabolical. By the time the leaders were coming through the Cliff Spectator Point on lap 2, Harley Uran had passed Bo Robinson and made up a 2-minute deficit to race leader Darren Agrella. the end, Agrella maintained a steady pace and took no risks in order to preserve the race lead on corrected times. This paid off handsomely as the Undecided Racing Gymco took its first ever WAORC outright win. They may have been caked with mud, but the competitors were all smiles, laughing about how much fun it had been skating around in the greasy conditions.
Very, very well. Apparently we've won, so very, very happy. Yeah, it was very hard last 2 laps where that rain came in. Yeah, pretty much ran on 4, 5 cylinders, missed it all the way, but we managed to get it home, so I'm pretty wrapped. Yeah, he can thank them all.
Yeah, West Coast Cylinder Heads, Leo's Truck and Bobcat Hire, Able Finance, and City Space Fashion Fairs, and all the crew and family that comes to support us.
Tricky conditions jumbled the pack as Uren was quickest in the final section. Darren Agrella was a worthy winner, with Beau Robinson and Stephen Phillips rounding out the top 3 outright positions. Congratulations to all the class winners and finishers of one of WA's premier off-road events. A massive thanks must go out to the Carnarvon Motel for their continued support of the WAORC and the Three Springs event. Also thanks to Oricom UHF and Intense Industries for their contingency sponsorship. The Kalgoorlie Desert Race will be the final round of the 2017 WAORC and is sure to be an absolutely massive one. So we'll see you in the goldfields when the red dust flies.